personally as well as in
Stream
Diablo.
elements.
You see, today's the day I'm going to hit
Welcome
level
to my
100.
channel.
I'm level 99 currently in the game.
S.W.Frost is
And I
now
thought it
live
would make
streaming
sense that we
last
save
epic
the
tie
level
no art
99
offers please
for today
overslept
on
off
live
course.
stream, so that way we can kind of enjoy it and hit it together. I think it would be a fun milestone as we wrap up and finish the Druid. But it's also the day that the original YouTube channel has been surpassed here. Check.
Goodbye for now.
Ella. Welcome to my channel. Paularagui. Welcome to my channel. Isebe. Welcome to my channel. Streamers Social Space. Welcome to my channel. Kata. Welcome to my channel. Nipet. Welcome to my channel. Vraz. Welcome to my channel. Drapsnat. Welcome to my channel. Alicidra. Welcome to my channel. Alien Gathering. Welcome to my channel. Axe. Welcome to my channel. Community K members. Welcome to my channel.
That's the game. Okay. A bit low. Okay, let me see if I can get this up. The audio mixer for the microphone is up. Let's see if I can.
One.
There we go. Alright. Okay, looks like everything is up on everything in the volume mixer.
One. One.
Oh, just a second. How's that? Does that sound good?
1, 2, 3.
Yeah?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so this, I'm not sure if this is the mic or not.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Restreambit.
1, 2, 3.
Welcome to my channel.
1, 2, 3.
Restreambit. Welcome to my channel.
Does the mic sound okay?
Restreambit. Welcome to my channel.
Does the mic sound okay?
Restreambit. Welcome to my channel.
Does the mic sound okay?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Test, test. Hallå? Hallå? Test, test. Hallå? Hallå? Mm. Jaczyny звука 1, 2, 3. Jaczyny звука 1, 2, 3. Jaczyny звука 1, 2, 3.
Game. Here's a game. No change. Okay. How's that? Loud enough? You can hear. Let's see. Seems fine. You can hear me. You can hear Doom. All right. Now it has an echo. Okay, let me fix that. Okay. Now there should be no echo, right? No echo. Mic is okay, let me change it. How's that sound? Good? Okay, great. Perfect. And is it loud enough? Because it was tinny before. Okay, good, good, good. Alright. Cool, alright. Well, here it is. My house. I don't know anything about it other than people said it's really cool and that I should run it. So I should check it out. So I have never run this. I got it up on the screen, made sure that Cheesy Doom ran it and everything. But that's it. So I'm gonna play it. Ultraviolet, as usual. Okay, it's using Doom 2 music. Okay. Outside of a house. I guess I'll be back here to leave. There's a teleporter right over there. Okay. Alright. Got a porch. It's all scratched up.
Hey everyone, my name's Jason. I'm a community manager at Coffee Stain Studios, and you've seen the thumbnail and title, and I think we've probably given it a illumination system in Unreal Engine 5, and global illumination is kind of what it sounds like. It's a bit confusing, but it's basically the bounds of a tile. There's a small hitch, and we have to load in the entire next tile, so that you can move through that tile, right? Now, this is really inefficient to Unreal Engine 5. How exciting! Yay! Woo! This is something that we've sort of been back and forth on, try to dance around a little bit on live streams when people ask these questions, and we're really glad to be able to talk about this video now, because it was getting to the point on streams where it was like, well, 5. How exciting! Yay! Woo! This is something that we've sort of been back and forth on, try to dance around a little bit on live streams when people ask these questions, and we're really glad to be able to talk about this video now, because it was getting to the point on streams where it was like, well, we say we're not sure if we're doing it or not, which was technically true, but then it got to a point where we're like, we're kind of sure, but we can't leak it. Okay, so we're getting this video out of the way, and now we can just talk openly about it. But yeah, no, we were investigating this for quite some time, and we weren't sure for the longest time if we were going to be committing to this change or not. But hey, this video's here. So Unreal Engine 5 is coming for Satisfactory. So yeah, this news is likely very exciting to hear, and for good reason, as you'll see throughout this video as we talk about it. It is exciting, but there is a couple of housekeeping things that you need to know before we go on. The first thing that I want to do is set expectations off the bat. When we release Update 8 on Experimental, it will be really, really experimental, okay? So we're transitioning, from Unreal Engine 4 to like a major upgrade to the next major version of the engine, which will be Unreal Engine 5.1.1. And so with that, there's gonna be some growing pains. So, if Experimental was experimental before, at launch, it's gonna be really, really experimental, okay? And of course, like, what our hope is that, like, when we, things seem fine to us internally, but we suspect that when we put it out to you guys, and there's gonna be bajillion people playing the game, you guys will come across any issues that were missed. And so please give us feedback on the QA site, questions.satisfactorygame.com, and we're going to use that feedback to make sure we can plug all the holes in Unreal Engine 5 and make sure that the game returns to be really, really stable. Right now, things seem fine, okay? There's no reason why we feel confident that we can put it out there, otherwise we wouldn't do it, right? But, like, past experiences taught us that when it goes out to everyone else, any issue that can happen will happen, and then we'll hear about it, and there's no amount of testing in-house we can do that can really protect us against that. Okay, so just setting expectations. It should be fine, but there's a risk that things will be up and down. The second thing I want to talk about is, if you're going to give Unreal Engine 5 a go on experimental when Update 8 launches, please back up your saves. I don't have any reason that Unreal Engine 5 will break your saves, but whenever we make these changes, it's really important that you back up your saves, because if something happens where your hardware is not compatible with Unreal Engine 5, or if there's just some bug in our code and that stops you from playing, and or it gives you crashes later, but you've already saved over your save files, then you may not be able to downgrade back to the early access version, which will be running Unreal Engine 4, and you really don't want to play those kind of games, okay? So make sure you back up your save file before this happens, just as a safety precaution, okay? Now, we do have a lot that we're going to talk about today, so I'm going to actually add at the end of the video, like a TLDR or a TLDW, I suppose, in this case, section at the end of the video. So if you don't want all of these details, if you want to know, like, what does this mean? What does it mean? What happens? What are the cliff notes? We should have timeline chapters again, but if you're interested in all the details, keep watching and we'll work through it all together. Now, I'm going to break this video down into two major sections. The first section is going to be, I'm going to talk about the new features that come with Unreal Engine 5 that we're going to be implementing, also the ones that we're not going to be implementing. And then the second part of this video will be more about like, well, what are the implications of this? What does it mean for stability? What does it mean for performance? DirectX 11, what about mods, dedicated servers, etc.? What does that mean for all these other things, okay? So those are the two sections that we're going to kind of talk about things. So first of all, let's get into the new features. So the three big features that like are kind of like on everyone's consciousness when we think of Unreal Engine 5, especially like gamers as well, like not game developers, but gamers as well, is things like Lumen, Nanite, or VSM, which is the virtual shadow maps. So like, these are the things that when people think of Unreal Engine 5, that this is what you get with it, and it's going to make everything so much better, okay? So let's talk about what are they, first of all. The first thing is Lumen. So what is Lumen? Lumen is a global illumination system in Unreal Engine 5, and global illumination is kind of what it sounds like. It's a bit confusing, but it's basically the system that calculates like how lights bounce around the world and all that kind of stuff, and how it calculates reflections and things like that. That's what That's what global illumination means in this context, okay? And so Lumen is a new system for that, which provides better lighting and reflections and things like that. Nanite is another technology that's with Unreal Engine 5 that is a different kind of rendering method that doesn't follow the conventional method of how we render whole meshes in video games, or how we render in video games, which is typically how we would take a whole mesh and we would actually render the entire mesh. You wouldn't see it all, obviously, because some things will block things, but like we'd be working with the whole mesh, which is the conventional way of doing it, if I really simplify things. But what Nanite will do is instead it only renders and like works with the relevant clusters of a model in the viewport. And so this is like basically just means that there's huge performance gains if you can use Nanite, I suppose, because we don't have to work with the whole mesh and render the whole mesh. We just have to render the parts that are relevant, okay? That's what Nanite does. VSM, or virtual shadow maps. What VSM does is basically just a memory-efficient shadow drawing technique, allowing higher res shadows and allowing for more post-processing shadow effects, which can be, great for things like art direction and, just look better in general, right? Which of these are we using and which are we not? Do we get any of these? That's great that we know what these are, but do we get them? First of all, VSM, virtual shadow maps, no, we're not using them. So Epic had deemed VSM to be beta, and so the fact that the technology is in beta, in combination of not having time to really look into things, means that means VSM actually fell quite low on the priority list, and so we will not be having VSM in Satisfactory for Update 8. It's not impossible that we won't have it in the future. We might, but we're not committing to anything. Okay, that's just no VSM for Update 8. That's all that matters. As for Nanite, will we have Nanite? Yes, we will. We're going to be trying to have Nanite on rocks and cliffs for Update 8, pending any issues that we may run into between now, the time of recording, and the upcoming weeks. And we will try to have Nanite on factory elements as well, but that may or may not come with Update 8. Like if it comes, it might come later. But it also may not come at all right? It all depends on how things work out. But that's the intention we have when it comes to Nanite in Satisfactory. As for Lumen, so this is a bit different. Okay, so we will have Lumen in Satisfactory for Update 8, okay? But we are not going to support it officially. We're going to offer the option to people to opt into Lumen if they want to try it and if they have the hardware to support it. But what we mean by not officially supporting it is that, like, development-wise, we're not going to have time to flesh out the entire world to be properly lit with Lumen to the way that we want it to be, and also prepare the world to be lit without Lumen. Okay, so we can't. That's kind of the bottleneck there. We don't really have time to properly light both and make them both in accordance to like our visual style that we want and our art direction and how we want things to look. Okay, so we're not going to craft the world with Lumen in mind, but we will give you the option to turn Lumen on or off, and you can use it if you want to use it. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. The video setting will be called GI, or Global Illumination, in the video settings in the game. Next thing that I want to talk about with this Unreal Engine 5 upgrade is there's a new system called the World Partition System, okay? And so there's a question here, will we be using the World Partition System? And the answer is yes, we will. And it makes sense to, okay? So World Partition System is something that helps with how levels stream in and are really good for open world games. Satisfactory is an open world game. And so we have investigated, looked into it, and we're gonna be using it. So currently in the version of Satisfactory that y'all are playing right now, in Unreal Engine 4, the map has been split up in a 7x6 grid, I believe, of tiles, right? And the map is really big. And so a 7x6 grid of tiles means those tiles are massive. They're absolutely massive. And you all know, as players of the game, that when you approach the bounds of a tile, there's a small hitch, and we have to load in the entire next tile so that you can move through that tile, right? Now, this is really inefficient because if you think about it, we're actually loading in a whole bunch of assets that aren't actually relevant to you, right? So when you walk up to a tile and you're at the front of a tile, we're loading literally everything, including the stuff at the far side of the tile that you can't even see or interact with. Like, that's irrelevant to you, right? So this is fairly inefficient. We're loading so many assets that don't matter to you at that point. We're doing it all in one go, and so there's a hitch. And this also means that without our workflow, the way that worked before was that all of those assets that we put down, the actors, right, that we put down in the world on those tiles, they were tied to the tile, right? So if we ever wanted to render those things, trigger them, anything, we had to load the entire tile, and there was no way to work with those actors independent of the tile. However, now, with the World Partition System in Unreal Engine 5, we've moved away from the actors on the tiles being tied to the tile to becoming just like a file per actor thing. So the actors are actually independent of tiles, and they're actually, if anything, they're just tied to like the location in the world that they are. And so like when we're developing the game, every actor on the map has a file in the file system, and so we can sort of, this gives us more sort of flexibility in how we work and do things. However, that won't be the case for you guys. When the game gets cooked and built, everything will be sort of cooked down to what it needs to be, right? Now, what this means is if those actors aren't tied to the tile anymore, and that instead they're tied to a location, it means that we have a much more flexible system now to actually break up the map into smaller tile chunks, and we can experiment with those tile chunks, and we can quickly and easily decide, well, what tile size and tile chunk, setup is most efficient for Satisfactory. Before, this was virtually impossible because to change a tile size, we had to rework a whole bunch of stuff and move assets and all this. We had to manually do that and then test whether or not it works or not. And then if it doesn't, we would have to like do all of it again and then test if it works. Now, we can just very quickly, by changing some parameters, affect how big the tile size is. It doesn't affect the actors that are out on the map, and we can just more quickly tune our tiling system and world streaming system to be what's most effective for Satisfactory. Another thing that helps us with is previously, whenever we wanted to make any changes to any part of the world, we would have to check out an entire tile, change those actors, and then submit those tiles, which meant large chunks of the map couldn't be worked on simultaneously, and they ran into issues. There was like a lot of we needed to roll back fixes and merge things with people on different branches. It was a complete nightmare, and this gets rid of all of that for us. So this helps us so much in development, and the result will be a much smoother experience for you guys, we believe. And so how do these tweaks kind of work, and how would this tech sort of work? So like if we can find a sweet spot when it comes to tile size, it means that we can find a way to stream in only the stuff that's relevant to you, wherever you are on the map, which means we will stream in parts of the map more often, but it'll be less data. So the expectation or the intention is that there will be no hitches, or smaller hitches, hopefully no hitches, since less data needs to be loaded in. If we finely tune what loads in and when, and if we're really careful with the way we do our loading, our level of details with models and things like that, our goal that we're striving for is potentially to have the whole world landscape visible if you're like really high up and looking down. as opposed to just these big tiles that are missing if you get rid of the fog. And it means we can maybe even lighten the fog so that we can allow you to see further and things like that. So this feature is huge and will make a huge impact on the player experience. It'll help us a bunch with development. Oh, and it might even fix. There was like a performance issue that some people had where if they happen to build their factories near the edges of tiles, this would just create certain situations where basically things would hitch and stutter more often. And would be very sort of inefficient. And this sort of does away with that issue as well. So, and there was no way for people to know if they were near a tile or edge of a tile or not. So this feature is honestly quite a godsend for us and for Satisfactory, and I think everyone is going to benefit so much from it. This is the thing that I'm most excited about personally. The next major feature that's coming with Unreal Engine 5 that we are taking advantage of is TSR, or Temporal Super Resolution. And so TSR is basically just an upscaling algorithm to make lower resolutions appear crisp at higher resolutions with generally little to no loss of quality. But this means major performance gains because you're rendering less pixels at a smaller resolution, but then you get to still like experience the higher quality that you wanted initially. And this is very similar to NVIDIA's DLSS and AMD's Fidelity FX. It's the same kind of thing. There will be a setting in the game to choose what percentage you wish to downscale your resolution to. So you can hopefully you'll have a lot of control there to find what works best for your system. If you have a good GPU, we recommend to use this, since I think it's because like a lot of our game is CPU bound, and so if you can offload more stuff towards the GPU, then you're just going to get more bang for your buck and maybe even relax your CPU a little bit. But if your GPU can't handle this kind of thing, then it's better to not use TSR. It's probably not going to help you. Okay. We're also adding, right? This isn't TSR, but we're also adding FXAA, which is fast approximate anti-aliasing, which is a cheaper anti-aliasing alternative for people who are running on lower spec machines. This is in addition to temporal anti-aliasing, which is what we currently have in the game. So you still have the regular anti-aliasing that y'all have been using. You will hopefully be able to have TSR as well if you can use it. And if you have lower spec machines, you can also try FXAA, which will hopefully give you better performance as well. The next big feature that's coming with Unreal Engine 5 is going to be vehicles updates, physics updates, you guys. Unreal Engine 5 deprecated the previous physics module that we used for physics in Satisfactory in Unreal Engine 4, but instead we're now using the Chaos physics system, which should be much, much better. The entire vehicle physics system has been remade, which means when you jump in game and you use these vehicles, things may feel different, okay? But they should still be fine. They should still be good, but the vehicles may feel a little different now. We think they feel better, but you know, at the end of the day, it's up to you guys. You can always give us your feedback, whether you like them or not. I know that, like, you know, when people get like change, sometimes they don't like the change right away. If you don't like it right away, maybe give it a little bit. Just give it a little bit, right? Give it a chance and see if you still don't like it. And if you don't like it, let us know on the QA site, okay? But give it a chance, okay? Now, this update should not impact automation and self-driving, because when the way that the game works right now with vehicles is that if you're really far away from them, actually their physics turn off and they just kind of move along a spline and just kind of float between the waypoints. So this shouldn't make a difference to that. It may make a difference if you're close to them. You may notice if you're constantly close to certain vehicles, and with the physics change and the retuning of the vehicles, that if they can't complete certain paths, then they may be more inefficient and you may need to re-record some paths. This really shouldn't make much of an impact when it comes to automation and self-driving. One other issue that has been highly reported on the QA side is that the vehicles bounce and stuff on foundations. Well, I'm happy to report that with this change, that the vehicles now drive buttery smooth, according to our programmers, on foundations. But there are some sloped foundations that still have some weird janky issues, but those are not issues with the vehicles. It may be issues with the collisions of those foundations. This may or may not be addressed for Update 8, but generally speaking, they should perform better on foundations now. We have also noticed a bit of a difference when it comes to random physics bugs, like where things send you off flying into space. But we still think that like game TM physics, where weird shit happens, is probably still in the game. But we do think that there has been a big improvement, but you guys let us know. Let us know, okay? As I mentioned before, vehicles have actually been tuned a little bit, right? So things have changed quite, well, I said a little bit. I think they've changed maybe quite a lot. So there's been changes to top speed and handling on the vehicles. Trucks now feel less bouncy than before. They feel more heavy, and they've got more mass, which I know is something that people have actually given us a lot of feedback and didn't like before. Explorer feels a little bit more zippier now and has a bit more of a tendency to oversteer, so maybe a little harder to control, but if you can get used to it, you're better off. The Sugar Cube is a little bit more stable and a bit faster, we believe, and the Factory Cart is now less prone to flipping over. I think it has its center of mass is like a little lower now, but it still handles poorly on everything but foundations. That is a design choice on our part. We want it to work well on foundations and not well anywhere else, okay? So that is staying as it is, okay? The handbraking system, which is spacebar by default on keyboard, has been improved. Now, before it was all previously faked with like fake forces on the vehicle, but now we actually simulate a handbrake, so that should be a little bit better. You may have known that previously there was like air control on the vehicles. Now, this is not something that we saw a lot of people really making use of or taking advantage of. But you could do like sick backflips and like 360 pop shove-its, you know, off a park bench. That's a joke that only one person understands that joke. Why did I say it? Anyway, you could do cool sick stuff with air control before, but no one's really using it. And so actually that's been removed. If you don't like that, if you want air control back, let us know. But for now, it's been removed, okay? Vehicles also have new sounds, you guys, okay? This has nothing to do with physics, but when driving them, when you drive the vehicles, there will now be sounds per wheel. So as the wheels, you know, not all the wheels spin and are under the same conditions as each other, and so the sounds should reflect that, and overall it should just sound a little bit more natural. The sounds will also better match the actual engine of the vehicle as well. When not driving vehicles, so vehicles like automated, driving around, or a friend is driving a vehicle and, you know, you're watching them, we still use simpler sounds in those cases for optimization purposes. One thing to mention here is that these physics changes do not impact trains at all. One other new feature that's coming with Unreal Engine 5 is the enhanced input system. The enhanced input system is just another kind of input system. I don't actually know too much about the details of it, but from what I understand, it's easier for us to work with. So development-wise, when we're creating new features, there's like this context system now with input, so that like we can define certain inputs depending on the context. So for example, one key might do something while you're walking around, but the same key might do something if you're in a vehicle, or if you have a jetpack equipped or something like that. And what this means for you guys is that we actually have some input bugs in the game, and this should iron out those input bugs. One example is, I think if you hold space while in a hover pack or something, or jetpack, and then you open up a menu, and you let go of space, that space persists and you keep flying. You know, things like that will hopefully be ironed out. And it may also result in potentially more granular key binding options for you guys, for the player as well. So some benefits there with the input system. One other, I think, new feature that has come to Unreal Engine 5 is like the meta sounds feature or something for audio, all right? It's another like audio feature. I just wanted to let you guys know we're not making use of this. We currently use Wise for our audio authoring stuff, and we're continuing to just use Wise for that. Okay, so those are the new features that have come, and we've talked about what we're going to be using and what we're not going to be using. So what is the implication of this over various things in the game? So let's go through certain topics that might be of interest to you guys. The first question that people might ask is, are there going to be performance increases? Is the game going to run better now? This is this sort of depends on how you sort of define things.
Welcome
because
to
you
my
could
channel.
say, well, if I got 60 FPS before, and the game, if I turn on extra things and it looks better and it still runs at 60 FPS, it's like you're not necessarily getting more performance, but then you're getting more quality, right? So it all depends on how you sort of like weigh this kind of stuff up. But basically, we think that Nanite will reduce CPU overhead as the occlusion is partially done on the GPU. So people who were CPM before, maybe you will get performance improvements, better FPS. There will hopefully be gains when it comes to anti-aliasing, because there's FXAA for lower spec machines now, which should be more performant than the temporal anti-aliasing that was in the game before. So that's an option for people with lower specs, but also for people who have beefier GPUs, you may be able to take advantage of TSR if we do get that in, and get maybe more frames and better quality through that. Okay, so you might get some gains there. Now, one other thing to sort of consider here is what performance gains do we have now, and what performance gains will we have in the future now that we're switching to Unreal Engine 5. And the thing is, if we're talking about now at the time of recording, what we've actually observed is that the performance is actually the same or worse. Okay, so right now on our high spec machine, when we profile that, we're actually at a 1 millisecond loss. But the thing is, all of this is without the tweaks that we now have at our disposal to do. Okay, we have these tweaks that we can now do, and we haven't done them yet. And so we think that anything can change between now and update 8 launch. Maybe things will improve between then and experimental launch. Maybe things will improve from experimental to early access, and then maybe things will improve again beyond that as we take full advantage of the engine. Okay, so right now I don't think you should. I think it would be unfair and unwise and unreasonable for us to say, hey, everything's going to be better now. But your mileage may vary. Maybe it will be better for you. Maybe it'll be a little worse for you. If it isn't good, let us know. Let us know what's happening, what kind of drops you got. Go to the QA site. Let the team know. Otherwise, they can't help you. Otherwise, they can't fix these things, okay? So let us know. We really intend to work with you guys through the experimental period to make sure we can iron out as much as we can. Next question on people's minds will probably be stability. Is it going to be more stable now on Unreal Engine 5? Or is it going to be stable at all, really, on launch? Right now, at the time of recording, we're hoping that at the pace that we're at, things should be stable for the experimental release. Our game code is largely the same. It's just mostly the engine that has changed, but you never know. That's still a big change, and there might be issues. But it is entirely possible that there are some Unreal Engine 5 related issues that we were unable to catch in-house, or with our external QA testing agency. We have that as well. And that, like, there's just no replacement for putting the game out there, out in the wild with you guys to see what you guys catch. Okay, so so far we think it's fine, like I was talking about before, but we never know what's going to happen when we give it to, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. So yeah. And so the areas that we anticipate that might have some stability issues would be areas that have been reworked. For example, vehicles, that's a contender. But if you do run into
Gamers
issues
Lounge.
with stability,
Welcome to my channel.
During the experimental period, the old version of the game, Unreal Engine 4 version of the game, will still be on early access. So remember to back up your saves, test out the game, make sure it's stable for you before committing to your save files. And if it doesn't work out, switch back to early access and load your backed up saves, okay? Another question that some people might have, like another implication of this change could be whether or not this affects hardware requirements. And I can say for sure that we will be upping our minimum spec for the game. One of the reasons we're upping the minimum spec is that, first of all, the minimum spec GPU that we had listed, there's no longer driver support for that for that lowest spec GPU anymore. So that's one reason. You know, NVIDIA doesn't even support that GPU anymore, so we don't want to support that GPU anymore. The other reason is that the current low spec GPU was unreasonably low in the opinions of the team. The GTX 770 is a 10-year-old card, and the only reason we went with it was not for any reasonable or educated reason. It was like we just kind of had it. We just had it in the office. So like, this will be our minimum. We'll just shoot for this. But now that we're putting a little bit more thought into it, we think that supporting that card or anything around that is unreasonably low, and we don't want to shoot for that anymore. Now, I do have some preliminary new minimum specs. Preliminary minimum spec is going to be the GTX 1650, 4-core CPU, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and sort of an SSD. Now, this is kind of a weird requirement because technically speaking, the game will probably run on a regular hard drive and not an SSD. And I guess that's what minimum means. So like, I guess a regular hard drive would still work. But the thing is, Nanite greatly relies on write speed. Okay. And so an SSD is super recommended also by Epic. So we need to do a little bit more testing on this before we can be certain. But at this stage, we think that running on an SSD might be required. But yeah, anyway, these are the specs that we have for now. Anything is subject to change. You can let us know what you think about these specs in the comments below. Are they bananas? Who knows? Okay, let us know. This brings us to the next point. Is DirectX 11 still supported? Yes, DirectX 11 we will still support DirectX 11, but DirectX 11 does not support Nanite. Okay, and so Unreal Engine 5 has a fallback system for this. So hopefully we can make use of that and continue to support DirectX 11. But we'll see. But the intention is that we will. But our minimum spec GPU supports DirectX 12. And so we consider DirectX 12 to be more stable than DirectX 11. We know of certain issues that DirectX 11 has that we cannot solve. And so we recommend that if your GPU supports DirectX 12, you should use DirectX 12. That is actually the default in the game now as well. And if there's there's little to no reason not to use that. GPU supports is that we will. But our minimum spec GPU supports DirectX 12. And so we consider DirectX 12 to be more stable than DirectX 11. We know of certain issues that DirectX 11 has that we cannot solve. And so we recommend that if your GPU supports DirectX 12, you should use DirectX 12. That is actually the default in the game now as well. And if there's any... There's little to no reason not to use DirectX 12 at this point, but if there are any bugs or any issues or any reason you can't use DirectX 12, then we recommend you trying Vulkan, and then if that doesn't work, try DirectX 11 as a last resort. Also, make sure your drivers are up to date before you start switching them, because it could be that if DirectX 12 isn't working well for you, you don't have up-to-date drivers, that can make a big difference, okay? So make sure you get the latest drivers. One other thing to mention whenever we talk about this stuff is that if you mess with your graphics renderer in the game menu, and you select one that your hardware does not support and the game crashes, and that saves, it means the game will crash every time you open, and you can no longer open the game, and you can no longer change those settings back to something that does work again. Some people have run into that issue before. Now, what you can do is you can delete your game user settings.ini file, and that will delete your settings and restore them back to default the next time you open the game. That'll send it back to DirectX 12. That file is located it's in the config folder, kind of by your save files. I'll leave its file path in the description down below, but another method that you can use is to use launch options to force a specific graphics renderer, so you don't have to revert all your settings back to default. That's probably the better option. Now, that can be a little complicated for some people if you don't know how to do it, so I'm going to leave information in the description for that as well, so that you can use launch options to force a graphics renderer. Go back in the game, change the settings, and then you can get rid of the launch option afterwards, okay? The next thing people will probably be asking is, what about the build limit? Has Unreal Engine 5 fixed the build limit? So for those of you who don't know, there's actually a limit to how many U objects you can have in the game, in Unreal Engine. Okay, this limitation is not imposed by us. It's just kind of hard coded into the engine, unfortunately. And now what a U object is it's not what you and I think of an object in Satisfactory is. A U object is an object that's under the hood of the engine. And it means an Unreal object, Unreal Engine object. And that does not necessarily represent one object in game. So for example, a constructor is one object that we know of, right? But it can be made up of multiple Unreal objects, U objects. For example, there could be the constructor mesh itself. There could be the animated arms. That could be another U object. The input and outputs could be other U objects. The ladders on the sides could be U objects as well. So a constructor is made up of many U objects, and things like foundations are as well. Even a foundation is not just one U object, or historically has not been. We'll get to that. But one thing that I want to make super clear is that this issue affects very, very few people. Like, I'm going to pull a number out of my butt and say, like, it doesn't even concern 99% of players. I don't know if that number's right, but it affects, like, very, very, very few people. But it affects some people, okay? Unfortunately, Unreal Engine 5 will not resolve this build limit issue that we've previously have. And in fact, there is no change with that issue in Update 8. However, on the plus side, there has been a change recently to this issue, which I'm not even sure if we talked about, but we should have. We should have talked about it. Actually, in Update 7, the previous update, there was actually a change that was made by us, which went a long way to addressing this build limit issue. And we did that with something called abstract instances, which greatly reduces the number of U objects that are on the map. So for example, a single foundation before would have been made up of 3 U objects, the actor itself, the root component, and the proxy mesh. But as of Update 7, with these abstract instances, they can just be one foundation is one U object, all right? And so you can see how huge of an impact that can have with regards to the object limit in the game. It allows, so that update allows y'all to build more. It doesn't move the object limit, but it allows you to build more and still stay within the object limit. It also improved save times, load times, and improved like memory reduction as well. We also have some other ideas of what we can do to continue to further improve the situation with the object limit, but nothing is set in stone for that regarding that, and nothing more will be done for it in Update 8. Okay, so that's the status of the object limit. Next thing you might be wondering is, well, what's going to happen with mods? Are mods going to work with Unreal Engine 5? No shot. There's no way. So like whenever we updated engine versions before, that would break mods. For this update, update 8, it's a major update for the game, major upgrade with the engine as well. There's no chance mods are going to work right now. They will not work for experimental launch. Now, the thing is that mods and mod support is not something that is handled by us. It is unofficial. We do not officially support mods, but it is handled by our community, and they've done an incredible job creating amazing tools for modding, and there's a plethora of mods out there. And as always, this happens every single time. Mods break after major launches. And then it's up to those mod creators in the modding community to make the changes necessary to support the game again, and then those mods come back online again. We anticipate a longer downtime for mods because of this upgrade, but I'm sure the modding community will do the best they can to get them back online as soon as possible. If you run into any crashes, that if you look at the stack trace, the information that pops up on the crash reporter when the game crashes, if you look at that and you see like names of mods and stuff in there, it's likely the crash is likely because of the mod you used, and that is likely what will happen to many people who use mods when you try to open the game on experimental when update 8 launches. If that is the case, the best thing to do is not reach out to us, because what we will tell you is you need to go and talk to the mod creator or the modding community, or uninstall the mods completely, right? Clean them out using the mod loader, uninstall using the mod loader, or the mod manager rather. And those are just the things you can do, because we can't actually help you with those things, all right? So if you run into mod related crashes, go and speak to the modding community or the mod developer. Some people might be wondering, with a big update like this, has there been any changes to dedicated servers? Or will Unreal Engine 5 break the servers? Who knows? What's the deal there? So dedicated servers will remain functional. There will be an experimental branch of the dedicated servers, and they will be running Unreal Engine 5 dedicated servers. Okay, and you thought that the dedicated servers, they've been experimental this whole time, and you thought they were experimental before. Yeah, they're gonna be really experimental now. Okay, it is likely that the dedicated servers will be less stable than they were before, and I understand that a lot of people were frustrated at the stability and lack of updates that dedicated servers were getting before, and this is gonna suck to hear, because this is a downwards trajectory, right? Like, things are getting worse for the dedicated servers. So I can understand frustration and annoyance at that for sure, but I just want to reiterate, we've said this before in the past, dedicated servers will get more love. They will get more work done to them. We have planned to improve features for them on top of ironing out any issues as well. So there will be updates to dedicated servers. I'm sorry that they're not coming for this one, and I'm sorry that things might get a little worse with dedicated servers now, but mark my words, we plan on fixing them. Okay, so yeah. You might be wondering what version of Unreal Engine 5 we're going to be upgrading to. It's going to be Unreal Engine 5.1.1. I think I did mention that earlier, but just putting it out there. You might be wondering, why did we decide to do this change? Isn't it a lot of work? Why did we decide to do that? And the answer is because we're masochists, all right? We're game developers, all right? We hate ourselves. No, but the real reason is that, like, this is future-proofing, we believe. We think it's necessary at some point to do it, and so we might as well just do it now. If we don't do it now, we have to do it later. But if we do it now, then we can get it over and done with and iron things out with you guys in the meantime, okay? So it's probably better to just do it now. There's other features that are, you know, super worth it, like the chaos physics system. Lumen,
welcome to my channel.
We think there's going to be long-term performance gains. Also, the world petitioning system is just such a massive gain. Like, why wouldn't we want that, right? That was a huge deciding factor. You might be wondering, how long did it take? It's taken about 4 or 5 months, but initially it was only just a handful of key people who are working on it and investigating it. But then when we got to the point where we were like, yes, we definitely want this, then more people got on board, and then we committed to it, and we made it happen. Okay, but in total, it took about 4 or 5 months. Do we think it's worth it? Short term, it depends who you ask, actually. Some people say yes. Some people say, ow, no. No, make it stop, ow. Some people say owies. For example, a notable one that you guys kind of saw the effects of was a few weeks back. We had to delay one of our teasers because Snoot was trying to take in-game footage. That's what he was dealing with. He was trying to take in-game footage for the teaser trailer, and the shadows were being a pain, and then he fixed that, and then it was just crashing nonstop, and we had other people help him, and it was a complete nightmare. And then the teaser had to get delayed. And so in those cases, does it feel like it's worth it? No, it feels awful. But long term, we truly do believe that this is the right move. Yeah, long term, it will really pay off. And so there may be growing pains. There have been growing pains for us internally, and there may be growing pains for you guys on the experimental launch of Update 8. And we'll sort of just see what we can do from that point on. But we think in the end, right, at the end of the day, right, it's going to make for a better game, and that is what is most important, we feel. All right, so that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. But as promised, I'm going to just give a TLDR, because this video has been massive, absolutely massive, okay? And so let's just do a quick TLDR of what this means for Satisfactory and what you guys can expect. So first of all, we anticipate growing pains from the launch of Update 8 on the experimental version of the game, and then we don't know what that like ironing out process will be like, but we do expect that, and this also includes dedicated servers. We do, however, believe that this will improve things greatly in the long run. We do believe it is worth it. There are also a slew of new features that come with Unreal Engine 5 that we can take advantage of, so we believe that that is absolutely worth it. And for example, there's going to be better vehicle physics with the Chaos Engine. There's going to be more efficient world map streaming with the world petition system. There's going to be better lighting with Lumen for those of you who can take advantage of Lumen. There's going to be better key binding for the player and less input bugs when it comes to that. We also think there's just going to be better fidelity in general when it comes to utilizing nanite where possible. So yeah, a whole bunch of new features coming with Unreal Engine 5 that we can take advantage of in Satisfactory. Overall, we expect similar or slightly worse performance at the launch of Update 8 Experimental for some folks. But we do expect that after some tweaks with community feedback, that we're actually quite confident that performance will improve over time. However, other new features like nanite and anti-aliasing options like TSR and FXAA will hopefully be able to be utilized by you guys, and so that you get more bang for your buck when it comes to performance, and hopefully it will mitigate some of your performance issues if you have them. So we'll see how that goes. And finally, we think that mods will for sure break at the experimental launch of Update 8. It is up to the modding community to make the changes they need to their tools and to mods to support the new versions of the game moving forward. If you run into any mod-related crashes, these are not things that we can solve. You will have to go to the modding community or the mod developers themselves and get an update on what's going on there. Okay, so that's the situation with mods. And that's the TLDR. That's all of it in a nutshell. If you want any more information about specifics about what I just said, and you fast forwarded to here, go back and watch the whole video, okay? But in any case, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you made it to the end, congratulations. I hope you're excited. I hope everything goes as smooth as possible with this launch. But these are bold and brave steps, and I think it's going to be worth it in the end. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. Thanks, Jace. Helps a lot in the comments. And I will catch you all next time. Have a lovely weekend, and take care. Bye, everyone. All right, now we're done. Holy 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 cow. Holy cow, what a video.
This is where they're finally gonna have anime titties. Hopefully, we'll have to see.
The first major update for Unreal Engine 5 just released, called 5.1.
I remember I was talking to my dad about Unreal 5 and how good it is, and he was just like not really being very responsive about it or whatever. And I showed him that video of, you know, like that train station, that Korean train station, and like people thought it was real. I showed that to him, And I said, where do you think this video was taken? And he's like, I don't know, it could be anywhere, right? And I was like, yeah, it's actually in a game. He's like, what the fuck? Yeah, the Japanese one, yeah, there you go.
Is a huge deal. The reason why is one word, and that is foliage. Since Unreal Engine 5 came out, it introduced a revolutionary new way of rendering geometry called nanite. To briefly sum up nanite, every object you see in computer graphics is composed of tiny flat planes of geometry called polygons.
Yeah.
And the more polygons you have in
They showed this with the first one. I remember seeing
your environment, the longer it will take to render. This is why video games have developed a system called a level of detail, or LOD for short. The further away an object is from the camera, the less polygons it will use to render that object.
New World does this a lot. If you guys ever notice this, whenever you walk away from an NPC, the texture of the NPC's armor will change.
This makes games run faster since there's less polygons that have to be rendered. But it is very time consuming to create all those LODs.
Well, it's easy to
Nanite replaces LODs because it uses dynamic level detail. This means you can have an object with millions of polygons without any LODs because polygons dynamically deform, lowering the amount of polys on an object. A good example of nanite images, if I come up to lit, nanite,
Ne zbaciš šta ima.
Pijem drugu kafu, više nešto jutro da dam krv sutra za ovo kamenište, idem da razbijam ponovo. I
Fino, fino. Pa... Skidam update za igru koju sam inače ranije igrao. Vidim da su developeri izbacili podršku za Unreal Engine 5.0 update. Naravno, kaže, nije realno da kao sve opcije koje ima Unreal Engine kao odjednom kao ubace, zato što igra nije pravljena tako, ali ono što mogu, kaže, da iskoriste, hoće. Tako da, ako je budem igrao, vidjet ćeš iz prve ruke da li ima razlike ili nema. Satisfactory, nije, mislim, jeste first person i ima pucanja, ali nije fokus na pucanje. Igrao sam i ranije na kanalu. Mislim, kao ono, open world je varijanta.
ja, ovaj Hunt Showdown serveri otišli su u kurac u toku večera, znači ono je strašno. Znači, svi koji igraju na Europskom imaju lag, neki 3 koraka napred, 1 nazad, 3 koraka napred, 1 nazad.
A to će biti, to sad nije opasno, ali bit će zanimljivo kad počne taj event. Znaš?
Mislim, i ovako je neigrivo, jel te kad krene putem.
Dosta sam čuo, ono što sam gledao po forumima, razumiješ, ljudi se žale, svaki put kaže, kad nanišani i krene da opali metak, igra zaleguje, kaže, iste instance. Znači kad metak...
Ima sve silo.
I ništa, i kućine.
Meni to dešava stalno, i ne svaki put, nego tipa svaki 6. i 7. put i to samo na close combat. Znači kad nisam na daljinu jedno kad mi lik iskuči ispred, da mi nišani voda mi zabode igra, znači bukvalno ne stiže mi da pukne, ne znam kako ti...
A znaš i... Čekaj, ja sam malo, nisam programer, ali sam gamer, ali malo čitam više. Znaš li zašto se to dešava?
Ne.
Zato što je Hunt Showdown jedina igra koja fizički spawnuje, znači u svetu igre, znači stvori projektil koji leti, razumeš, prema od igrača, prema, razumeš, tome što gađaš. U većini igara se to ne dešava tako, već ne vidiš objekat, već oni ti sami izračunaju fiziku, razumeš, evo ti objasnim, metak, insta ili projektil, instant dolazi od tebe kao igrača do, ako si recimo uzeo automatsku pušku ili pištolj u drugoj igri, ti klikneš da opali, on pošalje, jeli, kod, razumeš, jeli, engine igre i on izračuna da si ti od tačke da nišaniš na sred ekrana, jel tako, do objekta koji gađaš, da si kao uradio poen štete, ali to nije slučaj s Hunt Showdownom. Kad opališ, primjera radi iz luka i strele, on stvori strelu i ta strela fizički leti kroz svet. To je najspori jedan od sporijih objekata u igri, znači strela. A možeš recimo uzeti nož za bacanje i sekiru. Baš zato što fizički stvara objekat, to stvara lag, verovati ili ne. Znači ti kad opališ metak, metak izleti, samo što je metak 4-5 puta brži nego jebena strela ili nož. Gde se to vidi najbolje?
Razumete što da kažeš, ali me nervira što se ne dešava svaki put, pa da razumijem,
To-
se 6. i 7. put.
To pravi lag. Zato što je kaj tek tako uradio svoju igru. To pravi lag.
Evo, znači, sa dvojicom close combat, sve je u redu, 4. opalim jednom, hitujem ga i da puknem drugi metak, oni ispred 2 metra ispred mene, sve mi nešto totalno, bude spalo, ne mogu ti objasniti. Bukvalno bude spalo. Ali da razumem, znači, da je to svaki put, nego nije, to me tek nervira. Opa igra, evo.
Glupo napravljena igra. Ajmo tako da kažem.
Da mi ovaj napiše bolan je 2 nedelje da produžim ceo mesec da ne radim, uopšte mi se ne vraća mi posao u nedelju. Nešto nisam raspoložen za rad. Neverovatno, ali istinito.
Da. Retko ko je raspoložen za posao.
A već menjamo tim, jebi ga, treba odmah da krećem na obuku za drugi tim. To me tek mrzi, ono. Pre ovi uradit ću krvi, jebo.
Kako to misliš kad pre?
A jutro sam dao krvna analiza već mi stigla.
Jesi platio napred?
Da, nego već mi stigla.
To je to. To je to. Idu pičku materinu.
Neka 4 rezultata mi su mi već, jeste, to bilo. Da mi protumači to je.
Ne znam. Možda da sačekaš onoga s belim zubima.
Aha, misliš da on zna?
Ako nisi... Ne, slušaj. On je inače hipokondar, to možda nisi znao za njega. Da. Hipokondar. Gdje je voda? Nema vode nići. Vidi magla je.
To nije u redu što ti rekao čokolade.
Stvarno nije u redu.
Da?
Stvarno nije u redu.
Ma nije u
Morat ću pijem vodu iz jezera.
Triangles, we can see nanite in action. Every color is an individual polygon, and there are millions of them, without a single LOD being used. The biggest issue with nanite is that it did not work with foliage. This means we still have to rely on level of detail for foliage like shrubs, grass, and trees. Trees generally use billboards as the lowest level of detail, which is just...
So we've got right here, let's see where this is. So we have World of Warcraft. Well, this is actually more like RuneScape, World of Warcraft, New World, God of War, and whatever is made in Unreal 5. Yep, that's about right.
Which is just a flat plane with a texture that, as you can see,
Ashes
does
of
not
Creation,
look
I
very
hope so.
nice. Here is an example of what a billboard looks like. I have Unreal Engine 5 opened up, And in this environment, all the trees are
Holy
using
fuck.
level of details because that was the only option.
Yeah.
Now, if I move my camera far away, you can see that the trees
They
change
change.
LODs until they are using billboards. And the transition looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
Notice how even the shadows disappear because billboards only block light if it's facing it. Now,
Čak možda će ti ovo
even
biti
the shadows
interesantno.
and the transition.
Možda. A. Sam dobro klipao, samo da vidim.
You can see that the trees
They
change
change.
LODs until they are using billboard.
Da, mislim da je dobro.
You can see that the trees
They
change
change.
LODs until they are using billboards. And the transition looks
Da, promenili su u 5.1 verziji, promenili su način na koji prikazuje džbunje. Pošto znaš ono kad, to isto u Hunt, kad se približavaš i udaljavaš, žbun izgleda više ili manje detaljno. Na velikoj distanci izgleda kao da je napravljeno od stiropora. Blizu izgleda jako detaljno. Sad tu imaš objašnjava i za Unreal Engine 5 i za...
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Notice how even the shadows disappear
izgleda
because
LOD.
billboards only block light if it's facing it. Now in Unreal Engine 5.1, we finally get nanite foliage. To enable nanite on foliage is pretty simple. You want to open up the static mesh, and within here make sure enable nanite support is turned on, and this is unique for foliage. Select preserve area. That's how if we aren't too far away, the object won't disappear. And then press apply changes. I went ahead and did the exact same process to all the trees in this environment. Now when the camera flies away, there is no LOD transitions or billboards. The trees retain the same quality as if they're being viewed up close. And the shadows do not disappear at long distances. There is no loss in performance. In fact, we gained an extra 5 frames, so it is more performant than LODs. So nanite not only looks better, it runs better in certain scenarios. Here's another example showing the power of nanite.
Oh my god, bro, this is fucking insane. Like, it's fucking scary. Oh, I'm so excited. You know what I mean? This is so cool to me. This is so fucking incredible. Why can't WoW be like this? I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. The thing is, you know what's really crazy? Is that one day Unreal 7 will come out. That day will come. And it's like, at this point, I don't even know what that's gonna be. This is it's the Matrix. Yeah, this is incredible. Wow.
This is what it looks like without nanites. The level of detail is noticeable because you can see that in the distance, the trees are just textures. Also, the lighting is casting incorrect shadows. And this is the same environment, but with nanite enabled.
They're moving
The trees
around a
far
little
away
bit. Yeah.
are no longer being faked by inaccurate textures. All the trees are real geometry that exists in the world, and we did not lose any performance.
Oh my
I wanted to
God.
push the limit of nanite foliage, so I create a forest that is 4 square kilometers. In total, there's over 100,000 trees in this environment, and I'm still getting decent performance. And as a reminder, this is all in real time. This level of density was only possible in pre-rendered movies. Also, it
Holy
makes life
fuck.
easier. We don't need several different versions of an object for LODs anymore. On top of nanite, foliage now interacts with light accurately. In real life, light passes through or bounces inside of leaves, creating subsurface scattering. Previously, this did not work with UE5's lighting, but now it does. This is foliage in Unreal Engine 5.0. Notice how the shadows are way too dark and unrealistic. And here's foliage in Unreal Engine 5.1. Now light is passing through the leaves and illuminating the ground,
Look
which
at-
looks a lot nicer.
Oh my god.
This is a subtle change, but it does make a big difference. They also added nanite landscapes, but it is feature incomplete and still in early access. Hopefully the next version of Unreal, we get proper nanite landscapes. Of course, foliage is not the only major change. When Unreal Engine 5 released, it introduced a new lighting system called Lumen. which gave us high performance dynamic bounce lighting.
Yeah, we've
And
seen
while
this.
it was revolutionary, there was one big issue, and that is it did not work with translucent materials. So glass and water reflections were pretty much broken. It was so bad that I was recommending people to not use glass, since the reflections were completely different from the environment. Right now, I have a previous Unreal Engine version open up, and this house's windows reflections make no sense. You can see that we're getting reflection from nowhere, and
It's a bit
same
weird.
thing for this glass jar.
Sure.
And this is the same environment in 5.1.
Okay.
But you will notice that there is no change yet in the reflections, and that's because we have to go into our post-process volume, and under reflections, lumen reflections, make sure high quality translucency reflection is turned on. Now we get a one-to-one reflection with our environment. We can better see this in the glass cupboard. There is an accurate reflection of the room. We can even see the table and windows within that reflection. The only
Jesus. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? Oh my that. Oh my god! Look at this. It was made by a wizard. Oh my god! Oh my fucking god! This is incredible. Wow.
We can even see the table and windows within that reflection. The only downside is that the setting does lower performance, so there is a cost, but nothing is free, and now reflections work. Water isn't broken anymore because of this new setting. Before this update, to get true reflection, we would have to use planar reflection and then manually move it to lining up with the water. Now I can just enable translucent to get realistic water reflections without having to use a reflection capture. This also fixes reflections for large bodies of water. Notice how on the side of the viewport, we have weird reflections. This is because by default, Unreal is using screen space for translucent reflections.
Oh,
so that's why we get this artifact.
I see, it moves around.
And to get rid of it,
Yeah, I think the water... I feel like water is something that many games actually get incredibly right. And it's ironic to me that Unreal 5, that seems to get everything else beyond right, doesn't really seem to capture water very well.
now, just within the post-process volume, activate high-quality translucency reflection. So now we get
It looks
accurate,
better.
Oh, follow
large
mode.
body reflections.
Welcome
That
to
looks-
my
okay,
channel.
that looks good, yeah.
Also, besides lumen reflections working with glass and water, Lumen Global Illumination has seen massive improvements. Lumen now has a much more accurate bounce lighting because it is bouncing light from the object surface instead of a voxel approximation. What this means is that our environment is indirectly illuminated more and there's less noise. Right here is a simple room with a point light in the old version, and here it is in 5.1. The shadows are more illuminated, and we got rid of the weird occlusion in the corners. Here's another example of just indirect sky lighting in version 5,
Okay.
and here it is in 5.1. You can tell that the secondary bounces are more accurate and powerful. And finally, there's a lot less noise when using emissive materials. In this example, there's a lot of noise when I move the light around. And here it is in 5.1, there is no noise. You can't even tell that this is real time. It looks path traced. Lumen wasn't the only lighting system that got improved. Now the path tracer supports sky and atmosphere. Just make sure in your post-process volume under path tracing, reference atmosphere is enabled. Also, path tracing now finally supports decals and light functions. For those who want to use traditional light baking, the GPU light mask has seen massive improvement. First off, the light mask works. At release, it was crashing,
Great.
but now since it is more stable, the quality of the lighting is better, and the denoiser has improved in dark areas. Also, the GPU light mask now supports sky and atmosphere right out of the box. Besides lighting, there's also an interesting change to how large Unreal levels can be. In past versions of Unreal, if you are really far away from the world of origin, Unreal Engine starts in past versions.
God damn. This is kind of fucking scary. It's the opposite to me. Wow. I never played the Matrix demo. I never saw an overview of the whole city. At least I certainly don't remember it. Holy fuck.
Of Unreal, if you are really far away from the world of origin, Unreal Engine starts to break. For example, I'm in Unreal Engine 4 and I'm very far from the origin. The widgets are starting to break apart because Unreal can't calculate what is happening that far away. Now in 5.1, the recommended area for an environment has expanded from 22 kilometers to 88 million kilometers. So as you can guess, we can create some pretty large worlds now. And finally, the last major change of note is animation with the sequencer. Animating anything in Unreal is done in the sequencer with keyframes. And if you want to move a sequence of keyframes earlier or later in the timeline, you have to select each one individually. For example, let's say maybe I want this ship to fly off earlier. What I'm going to have to do is hold down Shift and select every single keyframe and then move them back.
Yeah,
so when the
it's
animation
like Sony
starts,
Vegas, yeah.
the ship is already flying off. 5.1 makes this process a lot easier with layer bars, which make retiming keyframes a breeze. Instead of selecting each keyframe individually, I can select the bar as a whole, which will move all the keyframes of the object with it. So with one click, I can retime the animation, that's how it's sooner, instead of selecting all of them.
Holy fuck.
Those were all the most important major changes of Unreal Engine 5.1. Now, this was just my opinion. Of course, there are hundreds of other new features and bug
Look at that. Look at the dude. I think that the most impressive thing to me is the reflections on the glass. That is what's so fucking insane. Oh my god.
fixes. So if you are curious, I recommend you check out the release notes.
And it's like, what's so crazy to me about it is that, remember whenever Unreal 5 came out? And like, I'm sure there were a lot of people that were like, oh my god, it's just like real life. And then they come up with something that's even better. It's nuts, man. Absolutely fucking nuts. New World moving to Unreal 5.1? I wish.
The description below. If you want to keep up to date with everything Unreal Engine, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Unreal is more important than ever because half of all announced next-gen games are being made on UE5.
Yeah, I wonder why.
There's no better time to learn Unreal Engine than now. Luckily for you, I have an entire free course right here on YouTube, which
Holy
goes over
fuck.
all the essentials to learn UE. You can check it out in the description below.
Oh my god, I cannot wait, bro. Like, this shit is just insane.
You know how?
Like, I am just...
You know how?
Just a sec. Are you talking to a chicken? Learning?
The first
if this was around whenever I was a kid, I would be a game developer right now. Because I remember, so I had like a copy of Macromedia Flash, and I taught myself how to animate whenever I was like 11. And if it had this level of quality to it, that's all I would have done. Wow. I am just... Holy shit, Stickman animations? That's exactly what I love to do. That's exactly it, yes. And I remember, for example, I remember I used to animate in 12 frames per second because I was 11 and I didn't know what it was. And then I learned that you actually had to do, like that you could take it from 12 to 24 frames a second. And I remember watching something with 24 frames a second and being so fucking angry because I realized that I could never animate in 12 frames a second again because it just looked 1,000 times better. Like, there's no reason for me to ever use 12 frames, but now I have to put in way more work, you know? It's like before I could, you know, finish like a 2-minute video in like maybe a weekend or something like this. Now it takes me like a whole weekend to do 20 seconds or something. Holy fuck, man. Could you link the video? Yeah, I'll link you guys the video. Holy fuck, this is just incredible. I'm gonna subscribe and like, dude, we're gonna, I love this so much. This is so fucking cool to me, man. Holy fucking shit, this is incredible. Wow. Oh my god. Look at this. This is a fucking video game, man. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Unreal Sensei, I've never watched any of his content before. This is just... Like, the trees, man. The trees. Look at this.
If they're being viewed up close. And the shadows do not disappear at long distances.
Holy fuck.
There is no loss in performance. In fact, we gained an extra 5 frames. So
Jesus. Like, look at the trees. Yeah, it's nuts. I would log on just to look at the trees. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just, it's so astonishing. It's so astonishing that, like, this is even possible. Like, holy fuck, man. Because it's like, I feel like some of these changes and everything are just so... They're so monumentally different. Like, wow. I don't even know what to say. More impressive than real trees? Yeah, these trees are way better than real trees, okay, guys? Let's just be honest. Imagine what we'll have in 30 years. Yeah, that's what I tell people that are like, oh no, that's never gonna happen. It's like, bro, look at video games 20 years ago and look at them now. How can you possibly fucking imagine that? Video game director answers questions from Twitter. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Glenn Schofield, artist and video game director, and I'm here to answer your questions from Twitter. This is Video Game Support.
All right. Video game support. I like this. Let's see it.
Dr. Bruce Wayne.
Ko? Ti?
Da.
Misliš?
Hoću, a nisam to mislio da ću.
Pa dobro. Ne može čovjek da se razbaca na sve strane, ajmo tako da kažemo.
Mjesec i pol dana mi Dracula nagovorio da instaliram.
I?
Instalirao sam i radilo mi je super. I onda me Dracula iznervirao, kaže smorio se, pa sam ja da instalirao, pa me prošle nedje ponovo nagovorio da instaliram.
On ti je nestalno po tom pitanju.
Sad sam instalirao i sad imam neko seckanje povremeno, ne mogu uopšte provaditi šta se dešava.
To se s njim uvijek dešava. Na to nemoj da obraćaš pažnju. Hoće to njega, znaš.
A ne Draculu, jer za Warzone, mi kažem, prošli put mi je radilo isti driver, isti sve. Radilo mi je super, sad mi je nešto setno. Ne znam šta je. Ništa nisam čak da je isto podešavao. Isti driver i isti sve. Prvi deo mi je mnogo bolji sviđa. Ne znam kako vama, ali ne znam.
Od meni to isti kurac. S tim što ako se dobro sećam, ne možeš... I da hoćeš, ne možeš trenutno da igraš. Izvoli.
Jeste u suštini isti, samo mi je prvi deo nekako sama ideja, samo sve nekako mi je bolje bilo i lepši ambijent je onaj doli ruski, kazahstanski, čiji je već grad, uzbekistanski, zaboravio sam prvo. Mnogo više detalja, sve uređeno.
Možda su bolje optimizovali igru za konzole?
Ja nisam probao konzole.
Nisam niti ću. Hvala. Ahaha.
God of War, otkud meni God of War na tim live. A nema kući.
A ti to šeraš njegov account, šta?
A on je šerovo, na. Gledam sad, otkud meni God of War. Ti znaš moje mišljenje o God of War.
Da.
Možda ga instaliram, sad ću da vidjeti ili brzo. Probam da im na prvi. Oj, ja samo sutra pregrmim ono razbijanje, mislim nije to ništa strašno, ali niti boli, oni kažu da boli, mene to ne boli zato što je mnogo gori bol kad se to spustilo ovdje. Nego, smor mi je, mrzim kad mi je sve unapred zakazano i planirano, znaš. Ako me razumiješ šta mislim.
Da.
Onda moram, ako uzem bolovanje, ako se reći, onda moram s tim nalazom da idem na Karaburu, ma to mi tek smorka što mi je na Karaburu, mi nije ženski lekar. Ja živeo tamo prijavio i nisam premestio ovdje, ja to na drugi kraj grada.
Si video trailer od tog novog eventa koji treba bude? U HUD?
Ne.
Kako nisi jebate?
Ne vidim, ja nisam ni bacio pogled.
Među prvih par komentara bio je onaj od onoga, kako se zove, streamera, Nina. I da je to bilo nešto u stilu kao I can wait for it, I'm so excited. I onda se ja, pošto je bio, kažem, među prvih komentarima, znaš, ja meni išao na kurac, ne on, nego Krajtekar, razumeš, s tim njihovim kao, znaš, ono, soon, new event, ovo ono, znaš, ja rekao, what are they even teasing? Nešto u tom stilu sam napisao. Ko je hteo da kupi Han Shodan, već ga ima, igra ga, i ono, verovatno će igrati event. Ko nije kupio igru, neće sigurno kupi zbog eventa. Razumeš?
To sam čuo što ti rekao.
Nema potrebe da mi reklamiraš sapun. Ja sapun koristim svaki dan, neću ga kupiti više. Gluposti. Ne kurac mi doviše. Prodajem mi toplu vodu. Kredite kao posle.
Za Hell Let Loose izašao je update 14 i najavili su sad trailer za update 15 i lik na benchmarku komentariše sa updateom 14 su lepo sjebali dosta stvari, a gledam sad update 15 imaju dobre šanse da totalno ubiju igru.
Što? Najavljaju neke nove opcije, a engine i dalje isti, ono kao ima FPS da padne na nulu.
Unreal 4, pa većinu su vi kukali, znači igra im radi dobro samo kad su negdje na ivici šume, kad nema nikoga. Čim uđu u nešto urbanije, čim tu kada nešto se pomera, GPU load iz čudesnog razloga pada na 50%, stuttering, seckanje, i što mene dovodi do ludila onaj deo, a samo prvi put, znači, i onda kad stisnem desne klikne na nišanim, to tako zaseče, znači dok ne nišanje. Onda sljedeći par minuta ako stiskam nišanje radi, ako napravim pauzu 5 minuta tumaram po šumi, sljedeći prvi put opet kad stisnem da ne nišam, to je užas kako seckanje. Užas. Onda, na primjer, što me posebno me fascinira deo kroz snajper kad gledaš kroz scope, gdje ti više od pola ekrana bude crno okolo onog kruga snajperskog granata.
Kapiram.
Ti vidi samo nišan, a sa 120-130 frame-ova, kad stisnem nišan, padne mi na 65-70. To nema logike nikada.
A ima, ako znaš kako to radi. Zato što kad ti zoomiraš sa optikom, ti učitavaš objekte koji su u daljini. A kako igra inače radi normalno svaka, objekti koji su u daljini manje su detaljni nego objekti koji su bliže, na recimo do 50 metara. Znači što je objekat dalje, to je manje detaljan, što je bliže, to je više detaljan. Kad zoomiraš sa oružjem koje ima optiku, ti forsiraš igru da ti učitava u toj sekundi objekat detaljniji. Jer približavaš ga, znači postaje više detalja, a ne manje.
Ali opet, 2/3 ekrana je crno, nema nikakvog učitavanja.
Pa to je problem, ne postoji optimizacija, to upravo to što si rekao, ne treba ti zoomira, u tome je fora sa optikom, isto i u Hunt Shodan i drugim igrama. Obično ti je centar ekrana, samo mali deo ti je fokusiran, znači taj mali deo je ono kao detaljan, a sve okolo je ono blur, kao ili crno, razumiješ.
Crno.
Znači tu bi trebalo da dobiju nekakve performanse, a ako oni imaju problema sa time, znači da je optimizacija nula.
Optimizacija nula.
Znači bar bi to trebalo da radi kako treba. A ako to ne radi, onda...
onda tu niko nije kriv, jel tako je.
A nije to ti ono... osnovni problem, razumeš, koji oni treba da reši. Kao ono... zauške. Ono, dečje bolesti. Šta, ne kapiram. Okay. Ko ja? Da. Popodne. Može, Boris. Pozdrav.
Why do horror games scare me when horror movies don't?
Because
Laugh
you're
out
interacting
loud.
with them.
Because it's immersive.
Yeah.
You are right there. That is you. That is great to hear. Because that's what we try to do. We try and, the more we immerse you and make you feel like you're the character, the more you're going to get scared.
I like
Trust
that. That's
me,
cool.
Rusky, bruh. Why don't startup studios just make their own
I
game?
actually am very curious about this answer because I genuinely don't know why either.
Engine. Like, bro, stop being lazy. Wow. Okay. Well,
hard.
my
Yeah.
teams have made plenty of engines, and they are hard. They take years and years, especially for the... Now,
It's a very simple answer. It's hard to do it. Okay, got it. Yeah, I like this guy.
nowadays, you need to take an old engine and rework it, but making an engine from scratch in today's market is going to take you years and millions of dollars, and you'll still get it wrong.
Yeah, that's about right. I think that's pretty accurate, and I think like a good example of this, and like even being able to get it wrong, even whenever you do successfully just take an existing engine, is like look at New World. New World is run on the Amazon Engine Lumberyard, which is actually a fork of Crysis Engine. Is that right? I'm not 100% sure on this, but this is what I've read, and this is my understanding. Yes. It's a dogshit engine. Yeah, and so even they get it wrong. With the fork.
Time I got to EA, you know, they had a lot of different engines around. We were starting to build one. We're for Lord of the Rings, and I don't know. They were about a year into it. I said, "What are we doing? We're 2 years away." So we looked around, and we got creative. Lord of the Rings is about large areas, and then
dude, is that the fucking Two Towers game? Oh my god, I played the fucking shit out of that. Wow. That was so
sort
good.
of a castle on the end, or something.
I think it's probably Return of the King, whenever you think, because like Gandalf the White is not really in the Two Towers that much, in like any combat, except for like the end scene.
Fortress. What's like that?
Yes, Return of the King.
Tiger Woods. Long areas, and at the end is where you go get food, where you're done.
Yeah.
And so we took the Tiger Woods engine and turned that into the Lord of the Rings engine.
Yeah.
You just have to be smart about what you do and what you use for an engine.
Makes sense.
Para game doinks. I'm sure I got that wrong. What steps do I need to take to be a video game director? Because I feel like I can be the video game Spielberg. Good for you. That's confidence. To be a video game director, you're going to have to move up the ranks. You got to learn the inside and outside of video games. So you just can't come in and do it. No way. You got to have a lot of knowledge. You can come up in many different ways. I came up through the art field. You know, I started as an artist in video games. I've seen people come up as from producers. You're going to need experience. You're going to need to know everything about the video game. I don't need to know the technology, but I need to understand it, and it's changing.
That's kind of why I was telling you guys that I never really wanted to make a video game, because I don't know how to code. Like, I've taken, like, one class on how to code. Well, actually, like, two, technically, but, like, I don't know how to code. I can barely read basic code.
Every game, so you just can't jump in. I'm sorry. At Desemporium, do horror game creators get scared of their own creation sometimes?
I'm sure.
No. What happens really is that after a while, you've played the game so many times, you don't know if it's scary or not. If in the beginning, the first time that, you know, I say, hey, let's
That's probably true. Holy shit. Yeah, he's probably right about that.
Let's do this here. And if the
That makes
first time
sense.
I see it, I jump or I get scared, then I know it's good. Hold on, I've got something.
Okay.
So this is Two-Head from the Callisto Protocol.
Okay.
I'm sure that the first time you see him, you will be very scared. We went through a lot of iterations to get to this. He's morphed into two heads, and you can actually blow off
he's in my
either
chat.
side, and one head will fall off, and he'll still be coming at you with half his body.
I like that.
So he's pretty scary, and he's really hard to kill. At Mama Leyoshi, why are video games $60? Why are they all $60? Who agreed on that? I don't know who agreed on all that. I surely didn't. I think that it's the console guys who come up with the cost, but...
Yeah, that's how it was. Because for the longest fucking time, you gotta keep in mind, like, most games for Super Nintendo were like $40 or $50. Like, if you're getting like Super Mario RPG or something like that, that was $50. But if you're getting... you know, just like your random ass game, I don't know, like the Goof Troop game or something like that, it's like $40. Then they went up to $50 in the GameCube era, where $50 was pretty much the standard price, and there was only a handful of them that were $40. And then in the Xbox 360 era, we saw things go all the way up to $60. I remember I bought Doom 3 for $60.
There may be some of the publishers have something to do with it, but I gotta be honest with you. They've been like $50, $60 for, what, a decade? Something like that?
Is he about to say the thing that I've been saying?
In which time games have doubled or quadrupled in cost.
Wow. I feel very validated right now. I feel very, very fucking validated right now. Wow. What a surprise. Who could have... Yeah, it's obvious. The thing is, yes, I'm not a fucking genius for thinking of this. It's fucking obvious. Yeah, everyone with a brain knows that? Yeah, that's why everybody in chat was disagreeing with me whenever I said it. Yeah, I know. I didn't understand. Everybody was like, I was like getting gaslighted or something about this. Like, how the fuck are people saying this isn't real?
and the price hasn't gone up. And you can see the difference between a PlayStation 2 game and a PlayStation 5 game, and you're almost paying the same price. Man, I don't want to put the cost on the fan. I don't, but they're expensive to make.
Well, they do put the cost on the fan, but it's voluntary. That's why they have battle passes and they have microtransactions. Microtransactions and battle passes are how these companies have bridged the gap because the price is inelastic. People will simply not pay $90 for a video game. This will not happen. So because it doesn't happen, then they have to find other ways to make money with the games outside of the actual box cost.
They really are. At Spirit Destiny, how do you write a video game script? Well, it's pretty complex. I don't consider myself a writer. I consider myself a storyteller. So I'll write 20 pages or something on what this game was. And once I have a story and I've talked everybody sort of into it and through it and whatever, we bring on our writers. The next 2-3 years, the writers are working with me and they're writing the script. And they're adding the characters and things like that. So it is a long process because a video game is pretty long, 10, 12, 13 hours, something like that. So the scripts are big. They change a lot because this is about gameplay and something might not be fun. We leave a lot of room for change. At C. Cattell, who makes up these game ratings? Comic Mischief? Come on, really? I don't have a problem with the game's ratings. It seems like most games that deserve an M get an M. I've never had a problem with a games rating. I think maybe in the early days we had...
The only problem that I ever had with game ratings is that I think that games with gambling purchases should not be marketed as like teen or E for everyone games. I think that like if your game has gambling purchases or gotcha in it, then it should be an adults only game. Period. No questions asked.
Had one, a problem with one in Europe, and we worked on that in one of the European countries, but at the end of the day, we talked them into what it should be. I don't have a problem with it. Now, but the critic scores, oh boy, I could talk to you all day about that.
Yeah, I bet.
Aika 95. I never knew that motion capture process also included with voice acting recording. Or do they record that separately and then a lip mimic on motion capture?
Depends on the budget.
There's another process called performance capture, or what we call PCAP. And that's actually where we capture the voice acting. On motion capture, it's really just about the movements. The fidelity isn't the same as performance capture, which are big stages that we actually have to go down to Hollywood to do. There's only a couple down there, so we go down to the Sony one. And here's an example of us getting the motion of a kill scene.
Okay.
Primo dodges, he strikes to the legs, which swipes him out. He comes up, cracks, splits the head open.
Right, okay. We don't really do the lips or the voice here on motion capture, but we'll get 75% of the moves for the game, at least.
My hot take on this is that none of this shit matters at all. Motion capture for video games does not matter. As long as it's cool. It's like, for example, like, did they use motion capture for fatalities in Mortal Kombat whenever it came out? No, they fucking didn't. They just came up with some stuff that looked really, really cool. I don't think that it matters for a lot of players. It is something that has a lot of value. Yes, they did. Wait, no way they did. You mean like the original Mortal Kombat? No way. What the fuck? I didn't even know that. That's not motion capture? Yeah, if that's true, like, holy fuck. Yeah, I'll have to look at that afterwards. They mean reference for animations? The old uses real footage. Okay. Wow.
In the motion.
I guess, like, to me, I don't really place a lot of value in this. I think it's like something that studios spend too much money on. It's something that, like, to me as a player, it doesn't really increase my value of the game, or like the value of the game to me, as much as it probably costs.
Capture Studio. At Tressa Amoru. Sorry. I'm not good at making scary things. How do horror games come up with the most unnerving stuff? Play a lot of scary games, watch a lot of movies. If you're passionate about anything,
That
right,
makes sense.
you're going to get into it. You're going to be studying it. You're going to be absorbed in it for years. I've been like a sci-fi horror fan since I was really young. I'm constantly thinking about it, constantly have ideas in my head. So, I know I have some. But for us, I put it out to the team. We got 200 people. They're gonna come up with ideas. I'm always asking them for ideas because it's not about my ideas always getting in the game. It's about the best ideas getting in the game. I don't care where it comes from. So we're constantly asking the team and having brainstorming meetings and doing things like that. Because the second part.
That's good to hear.
And how do the creators of them not scare the shit out of themselves when looking at their own assets? Sometimes I got to tell you, like with the gore system that we have in our new game, the first time I saw some of that stuff, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Not necessarily scared, but I was really psyched because I'm like, that's brand new. Haven't seen that. That's going to gross people out, especially on the latest platforms. I mean, consoles. Man, this stuff looks amazing. At Too Fool, why are video games important? Video games are...
They're entertainment, right? I mean, I don't know, why does something have to be important? They're not important to a lot of people, right?
I think incredibly important. They are an art form. It's entertainment.
Yes.
It's a social network. They're just, part of pop culture now. They are a part of our world. Video games are bigger than movies and music combined. Doubled. They're
crazy.
That huge. I also think that they're the next medium. We're already doing it to tell a great story. I mean, look at video games and the difference between where they were 10 years ago and where they are today. Huge jump. We're always working on next technology. What's the next thing?
Yeah.
Movies, which I love, 10 years ago to today, it's not a big leap, right?
Well, yeah, there has been a big leap, but it's been backwards.
Video games are constantly changing. That's one of the hardest things about making them, but it's also one of the funnest things.
Yeah.
At X24 Sonic, it's a long one. How the do you design levels? Like, in a survival horror game building, how do you decide which rooms are locked or empty and what order the player will go through them? How do you come up with the layout and progression? Because I don't know where to start. That could take me all day to answer, but we start out with a paper idea, a paper map. We have software now that we can lay it out pretty quickly. And we move things around and stuff like that. And this is done by the designers. So the designers are laying out the gameplay. When people look at it and go, hey, that looks pretty good, we don't know yet, but we think it looks good. We'll then go into our engine and we lay it out in blocks. We call it Block World. Very simple mesh. We put a character in and we run through it. If we like that, we then have the artists look at it because a designer is just looking at fun. So sometimes they'll have a hallway go into a bathroom and the bathroom have a second door that goes into a bedroom. So we have to get it right. The artist will go in and make sure architecturally the building is correct and tell them we have to rework it a bit. As far as which ones are locked and which ones are empty and everything, that comes with the gameplay. That's usually probably 50% is got on your paper map over the course of making a level. And making a level can take 2 years because you're working on it, iterating, putting the enemies in. So it takes a long time. These things change. At Angelo's End, why are the simplest games always the best? I hear what you're saying, but I don't necessarily agree.
I think that there's a lot of games that are good that are simple, but there's a lot of games that are good that are complex too. It depends on the way the game is. Like, for example, playing tic-tac-toe is good, but so is playing Monopoly. Monopoly is way more complex than tic-tac-toe. Vampire Survivors or something like that. But there are complicated games. It's just different types of games for different people, I would say. It's like saying that, comedy movies are better than action movies or something like that.
some of the simplest games are great, right? It's easy to get in, easy to understand, and you don't have a lot of startup time, right, to get into it. You know, Rocket League and even Call of Duty to an extent is easy to get into these days.
Compared to,
I mean, it's
like,
hard to play against a lot of people, but
it seems like Tarkov.
I like games that take not a long time to get into it, but they build up the mechanics a bit.
Yeah.
Takes a little while, and you're learning the story and all. So I'm not always about the simplest game, but I understand what you're saying. At Jeff Whitmore 1, what is this scare?
I think they're also like very appealing to a large audience. A simple game can attract more people because there's less of a barrier to entry.
Scariest video game ever? Very good question, and I'm sure a lot of people have different answers, but mine has got to be one of the Silent Hills, probably Silent Hill 2. I mean, when that horn went off and I knew Pyramid Head was coming at me, I just ran. And that was terrifying. Or you're in the fog, your little Geiger counter goes off and you knew something was around you. Just really frightening. So, great game, scared the heck out of me. I wish they would make more. Portable G, some great names here. What makes a good horror game? Well, obviously one that you keep wanting to go through it, right? Because you know you're going to get scared, but if you want to play the whole thing, that's a good horror game. But what makes it good? Well, I think story is important. I think story will pull you through, right? Obviously, tension.
I think with horror games, like, yeah, story and tension are probably the most important thing. Like, I've actually never really played a horror game, so I'm just guessing. But it seems to me like that's the point where I would, like, really focus and, like, really worry.
And sound,
you know, it's like the tension of it. I hate tension.
Not being frustrated. That is a fine line when we're making a game. You know, we can make something that kills you 10 times, but you'll just throw your controller and blame us. But if you die like 3 times, you're kind of blaming yourself, and you want to get through it again. So we are really careful about how hard you make it. We get analytics and watch people play and all sorts of things. So we don't want you too frustrated. Somebody said to me once, they're like, what I loved about Dead Space was that every level I knew you were going to show me something new and exciting and different, whether it scared me or not, and I couldn't put it down. At Adele Pinot Music, how important is sound design for a video game? Wow.
Well, I've played Warzone. I'll tell you one thing, it's pretty fucking important. Whenever you don't have it, it sucks. Really, it's very important. It depends on the game, though.
Right up my alley. Especially for a horror game. Sound design and music and everything else is 50% of the game, right? It's 50% of the horror. I consider music and audio in a horror game a feature. It's a mechanic. It's that important. And, you know, for all my other video games, I've been sitting in the booths with the audio directors for 20 years. It's that important to me. But in a horror game, it's a mechanic. Let's say you're doing a machine. Well, for a scary game, the machine should sound scary.
Yeah.
And so we make sure that everything we kind of put in, even though it's relatable, it's going to have a weird or an off-putting sound. And then we get the music in. And when I say music, it's not music as you know. I mean, it's scary. It's got weird instruments. Sometimes it gets a little abstract. And the whole idea here is to add that tension. And that's the key to a horror game, because then you can make your scares much better and much bigger because they're already sort of tense. And then at that point, when we do a scare, what we call a stinger. Here's an example of a stinger from the Callisto Protocol. It's got to be on point. It's got to be right there, right on the money, or it's not going to be good. So we spent a lot of time getting the timing right. At 214 DJ.
I wonder if I would actually get scared playing a scary game. I don't really, I remember I watched like a couple of scary movies before. I just never really watched scary movies or play scary games. So, yeah, I have no idea.
YTF, is Elden Ring so hard, bruh? Well, I guess that's subjective, but yeah, from what I hear, I haven't played it, all right? Pretty busy right now with this video game.
You haven't played Elden Ring? Oh my god! Is this what it's like whenever people have a job? Jesus! I can't believe that! Get good? Yeah, I mean, I'm actually curious what this answer is going to be. I need to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Just give me a second.
What I hear, yes, it's very hard. But that's sort of what's going on in the video game industry right now. And I've seen it go up and down over the years. Sometimes they get a little bit easier, and then they get a little bit harder. We're going through that period right now. And matter of fact, we're going to make ours pretty tough, too. I just think it's sort of that point in video games, and just keep playing. You'll get through it.
I think that's probably true. Like, a lot of people want to have more difficult games. I think that's more of a focus nowadays, especially because... like, there's, like, more of a focus on, like, streaming and like, also seeing other people play the games. And whenever you're watching somebody play a game and the game has no stakes on it because it's just so easy, then, yeah, I think it makes it less engaging.
At TDSN 19, how well does the finger mocap work? Well, I have one right here. It's awesome. We used to have to animate the fingers. And it was a lot of work, you know, you mocap the whole thing, then you got to go in, because the hands got to look right. They got to grip the guns, they got to grip this, they got to punch. They've saved us a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of headaches. Well worth their money, and they work great. At Nick Gay.
I find it so fucking funny that whenever I was saying how mocap isn't that big of a deal for, like, games, I used the game. It was the first game to use mocap. I can't believe that. Yeah, I looked at it. Yeah. Mortal Kombat was like the first one. Holy shit, man.
Stage 1. I always wonder, how long does motion capture usually take to finish? By having a motion capture stage here at Striking Distance Studios, we're able to capture motion every day. If we need to get a run, we can do a run in the morning. By the afternoon, the run is in the game. Might need a little tweak here and there, or maybe you know, something to get it from one end.
So I'm assuming like the different points on the motion capture, they're effectively like they're like points on the skeleton of the model that's ported into the game. Like that's basically what it is. Yeah.
To the other, we do it in real time, and then we just take that motion and we put it in game. So
welcome to my channel.
It's really quick, and that's what makes quality for us. Being here in the studio gives us the ability to have quality because we can do something over and over and over again. And the key to video games is iteration. At
That's
All
crazy.
Things Horror, what is your favorite?
It's like, it's crazy to think that that can actually save money and save time. But whenever you think about it, and you understand how it works, it makes sense.
Monster design in a video game? Is there any obscure ones you think deserve more praise?
Okay.
Wow, I have seen some great ones. I mentioned Pyramid Head before. Pyramid Head is just...
I think Guinevere in Dark Souls 1. Yeah. If I could think of any video game model, like really good one, yeah, that would be my favorite.
Weird, right? And so I gotta hand it to them for that one. I like Nemesis from Resident Evil. I mean, Resident Evil over the years has had some really good ones, but I think I'm gonna stick with those two for now. At Big Ass Luigi, how the hell do game physics work? Do you have to give the program the formula for gravity or what? I'm not an engineer, I'm an artist. But yes, we've been working with physics for, 20, 30 years now.
What the fuck?
So game physics, some of that is when the character falls, they hit the ground, right? That's got to look good, and that's game physics in itself. That is a huge thing that we have in games. And it's very expensive. That's why sometimes when a character is dead on the ground, you go to kick them, they don't move in some games, because if they move, you're talking about just using up performance and things like that. So that's why you see that.
Okay.
The formula for gravity, we don't have to do that. Now, Zero G, which we had in one of my games, Dead Space, we had to stake it, because you're floating around, and that took a lot of work. It was like... when we have to do swimming and put them in water.
That's a good point. There's very few games that actually do swimming in a way that's not fucking annoying. I think one of the only games that didn't annoy the shit out of me whenever it had swimming was Sekiro. I remember the Sekiro swimming was pretty good.
It had to feel something like that. You know, I'll tell you
Dolphin.
one of the secrets of Dead Space was, you know, when you're in zero G, you're kind of moving differently. Well, we put it in what we thought was real zero G timing. It started feeling sluggish. So what we did was we gave it the same amount of speed as the regular walk, but we made the animation look slower. And so we never got that sluggishness, and no one ever knew that it was the same size, same speed. No one ever got back to us. Hannah Marif, can someone explain to me why I get actual anxiety when I'm playing a video game? As if I might be shot in real life.
Right?
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen, Hannah. The anxiety is, of course, you don't want to die. You don't want to, you know, have to start over. Everybody, whatever you've accumulated, whether it's going through the level or, you know, upgrades and stuff.
What she means is, like, obviously, like, all these questions are in the context of a scary game. And what she means is, like, yeah, whenever I'm playing a scary game, why do I feel like I'm the person who it's happening to?
Want to lose that. You've earned that. So I think that's part of it. In a horror game, the anxiety is what we want you to have all throughout it. Anxiety and tension, because
I love how the answer is like, why do you get anxiety? Because that's what we're trying to give you. That's why. We just did it. We win.
then we can scare you more.
Yeah,
so
we just
that is
won.
something that we try and manufacture. If a game isn't manufacturing it like on purpose like we are, it just comes from not wanting to start over, not wanting to go to a checkpoint, not wanting to die, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the questions for today.
Really
I appreciate you sending them in, and I hope you learned something.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. Wow. Q&A was full of imbecile questions? No, I think that they were totally fine, man. Yeah, I like the videos. I'll link to you guys for the video itself. Yeah, I feel like those were some interesting questions, and, you know, I think there were some good answers, too.
Goodbye for now.
I don't know anything about this level, so don't give anything away. There's something out here. Stand on it, alright. You can see inside a room. Nice. It's not that big of a house. Back door open. Okay, I guess I'll just go in the back door. Tired because we're in the garage. Get stuff in here. Nice. Okay. Looks like someone was in there. Alright. Nope. Nothing here. Looks like maybe a power. Can go downstairs. Let me just do this here. Alright, got an idiot. Front door. Oh, looks like someone missed the pack texture. Or is it just the... Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Wow, 3 shots. No one wants a pistol for very long, so I have a sense of shotgun coming up soon. Oh, PlayStation. 1995, alright. Let's see. Window does not break. Okay. Hardware renderer. Oh, maybe for that bug, but change the hardware renderer? Okay, required. Let me change that. Well, I have GL. Okay, let me not do something. Okay, hardware accelerated. There we go. Okay, there it is. Hardware accelerated. Let's check out the front door again. Alright, that fixed it. Okay. That's what I want. There we go. Alright. I don't have jump, so hopefully this is not a jump. A jump game, or jump one. Shotgun. Alright, so that's... So, that's what he sounds like. Boom. You're done. Alright. Cool. Alright, nice. Interesting. Okay. Clothes are in the washer and dryer. Red key card for that. Okay.
Anything you like? Now we're cooking with
Nice.
gas.
It's like downstairs time. Well done. That was a nice house.
I have no matter what. I'm grateful for everything you've done.
Okay, I guess I'll go down here.
You come back sometime.
Nice work. Alright. Alright. At the downstairs entertainment room. Everybody needs... Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Well, that was pretty cool. I don't think I've seen a teleporting object before. Nice. Let's see. Almost looks like my house. Yeah, it is. It is a really nice house.
Thank you,
Free look.
Survivor. Check back
Free look
soon.
is
I get
so
new merchandise
against.
daily.
Okay, I'll turn it on. Maybe it's just control. Control options. Customize controls. Okay. Other.
If we ain't got what you're looking for, we can get it.
No. Gameplay settings. Oh, I have to do the full options menu. I love that. Alright. Okay, there it is. Huh. Allow free look. Alright. Yeah, allow free look. I'm in there. I found free look. It says allow free look, and I turned it on, but the mouse. Gotta figure out how to turn it on. Let me see, maybe it's in mouse options. Sensitivity, mouse look speed, all that. Oh, there it is. Allow mouse look back there. There it is. Alright. He's stuck. I don't know if he even needs to be killed. ammo starvation. I get nothing from that guy. Alright. God.
Okay. Off to eat something. Oh my lord.
Morgan K. Welcome to my channel.
Well, mob tweet.
gonna get it? No way. Is it Duke Nukem? Nope. Thank you. Can't break it. Can't get it. Alright. Alright, I guess I'll go get that chainsaw. Yeah, I haven't really done secret searches yet, but I should. Because, you know, there's no ammo. Come on. Interesting. Okay. I'm just searching everywhere now because of desperation. I don't see any reason for this relic. Nice. Interesting. Chainsaw looking thing. Okay. Yeah, you're right, that soul sphere. That was only visible from down there. That was interesting. Oh, look at that! Interesting. Look at that. Alright. Somehow there's now repopulation or something happening. Let's check it out. Oh, that was cool. Interesting. Some heretic action there. Seems like it's a reset? Interesting. Oh! That was a PlayStation, now it's an Xbox. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, let's notice that this wasn't up there either. Okay. It's different. The level has changed. That door opened, swinging. That's cool. Let's see. So we were in 1995 and now we're in 2001? Alright. Yeah, because all the doors, they rotate. So that's like,
What the fuck?
Hexen. Oh, nice. I like the sound too. It's a good sound. Okay, that soul sphere is not there. Okay. This is definitely some. Oh, we've solved the door problem. I see. Look at that. We can have doors again. No. Okay. Very cool. We don't have the mirrors, but you know, simulation. Okay. I like the new art. Nice. I really like the doors. It's a very nice swing. Okay. Red skull. Okay, well I have a yellow skull, so let me... Since this might be new, I want to check this out here. That's empty still. Okay. What's this? What's that? Back door. Anything happen here? No? I'm assuming this is all new, so I'm going to redo the... Now we're talking 77%. Can't waste it. God, I can't waste a pellet. All right. Oh, nice. That's what I'm talking about. And this did have an imp in it before. Cool. Alright. Oh, no more clothes in the... No more clothes there in the closet. Alright. Here we go. Done. Hey, that was cool. There was a reflection. Not of me, though. Oh, holy crap. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Hair dryer. Hell yes. Can't see anything out here. Alright. Let's come back through. Don't want to miss anything. This iteration. Let's go outside. Maybe there's some cool out here. Okay. They're all dead. Nothing. Okay. Cool. Okay. I like the musical. It seems like the song has changed. Maybe it hasn't, but it feels like it's slightly changed. Alright, let's see. Got a rake? I remember when it all changed, I went through that front door, so that's what I'm going to assume is the trigger for the whole thing. So I just want to see if I got everything. I hate shooting. Although I do have 43 1:42. This is not that bad. That's the alarm clock. Okay. Yeah. See the music. Something's up. Nice. Okay, we're not getting points for that. Been here. This music is interesting. Nothing.
Now gratitude, friend.
Okay, nothing. Okay.
I really admire you, Fred. It's rare.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Attic. Who's gonna get it? Alright. Very cool. This is usually where Hellraiser type shit happens, because that's the Hellraiser mattress right there. Hellraiser 2, sorry. Ooh. What's in the other world? Ooh, weird. Love how the music is totally changing. That's interesting.
Gratitude. And safe travels, friend.
Okay, well, there's a mirror. That's pretty cool. I got a blue key. I don't know if I remember a blue door, but let me... So let's see. Oh, okay, okay. Alright. Alright. It's time for the blue door. Yeah, this song. That's really cool.
Just to let you folks know that Trader Joel's will be closing soon.
Oh, alright. There's a... Did I seriously pick that up? Okay. Interesting. Alright, let's go down into entertainment land. This song is awesome. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, sounds like... What? Song! That's hilarious. So weird. Like multiple versions running. Okay, let's go in here. Oh, weird. What is happening with the music? I can't see what's over here. Anything? This music is so messed up. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh, you can forget the front door. What? Don't need it anymore. Let's go out here. Oh wait, that was the class. That's not the garage. This is where the garage was. Okay. Okay, let me go up here. We're still in Xbox land. Okay. Okay, I've realized that I'm not leaving. I can't get out there. Okay, I do have the blue. I have all the cards, actually. like I have to go up in that attic. I just feel like that's what's happening here. What? I don't remember this room. Pepsi? Okay. Nice. Oh, nuts. Okay. That was a cool room. Whoa! Here it is. This is what I'm talking about. Is this some new stuff? There's a drink. Okay, thanks. Thanks, I guess. Okay, it did come down here, so maybe things will change if I go back up. Because I can't see anything. Okay. Nah. I'm gonna go back up here. Wait. Really? The quake? The quake sound? The sound for the electrical shortage. Interesting. I mean, it sounds like I'm missing something. I haven't. Go in there? Okay. That's interesting. Alright, let's see if I can find that sound, where the sounds come from right here. It's like on the left, the other side of this wall. Over here. Yeah. There it is. Okay, that is a little bit different. It's kind of the quake sound. How crazy. Don't see anything up there. Sounds like it's right here. We go down. That didn't move before, but now we have animals. Okay. Oh, what in the hell? Okay. Alright, here we go. How crazy. Sounds like someone's on a roller coaster. Nice. New monsters. Crazy. I wonder if those were a bad dog or something. Ooh, nice guy. Really nice. Wow. This is a roller coaster, or it's on fire. That's what it sounds like now. Alright. Nope. Crazy. Bad things. That's that thing. Okay. I like the new monsters. And the new sound. It doesn't. Now it's not a fun roller coaster. It's a bad roller coaster of fire. Alright, time to find out what it is. Almost cleared everything. Nice. Just getting everything I can. Cool sounds. Okay. Interesting. I do see how this is useful. Free looking, yeah. Nice doors. That's cool. Alright. Ooh, the house is burned. Big time. Alright. I like the music, that's really cool. Something else needs to get wiped out. Where is it? Right there. Nope, something else. Nice. That sounds great. I know. I gotta check everything, because it might just open. There we go. Something right there. Okay. I'll check that out in a sec. Just gotta get the teddy bear. Okay. There we go. Teddy bear. Alright. Go up to darkness. Oh, wait a minute. Does this even work anymore? No, I don't think so. Wow, okay. That's over. Time to go down then. Let's see what this room. Oh, I love it. Look at you hiding everything. Okay. Alright. Music's great. Yes, I'm just going through everything again. Just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. So far, all good. Okay. This is down here. Alright. Go back up. Nice. Oh, got it. Okay. Let's see that. Interesting. Mm-hmm. The Doom Guy books are back there. Yeah. Oh, saving the game. Good idea. Alright. I like how the music is changing now. Don't try to save or the music will change. Music is cool. What is going on? Okay. Alright. Alright, let me try downstairs. What? That was weird. These are solid now, huh? The rooms are empty. Okay. Have not seen this yet. Oh wow. Can I go down there? Can't really fight it with my fists. Huh. Is it gonna follow me all the way over here? Oh, save the game. Good job. That's probably what was meant to happen. Not gonna happen. You're not exiting. You're just starting. Oh. How many of these are there? Nice. I'll probably die if I do that. Okay. Nope. Like how the music just stops. Our favorite texture. Doesn't keep going up. I'll have to go. Whoa, okay. Thanks for teleported. Okay, one more here. Go this way. that's not a play. Oh, shit. Okay. Alright, let's see. I feel like this is just the same. Useless. No. Yeah. So I gotta do fire blue. Okay, there we are. And then we gotta go back down here. That's got light. Need to figure out how to get to it though. Get to that one. Nope. There it is. Okay. Gotta figure out how to get to one of these other... There's a thing. Alright. There it is. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, that's the giant... No. No, no, no. I don't have ammo for you. Oh boy. Wait a minute, that's a different dog. Cute. That's the good version of the crazy dog. Service. Okay. What does the dog's bark make me? Oh, it's Minecraft sounding. Yeah. Oh wait, what was that? Is that an Enderman over there? What was that? It looked like something was over there. Let me try and get over here. This dog is not going to be able to kill the big dog, so I wonder if I can get down there. Let's see. Yes, okay. But it's just a little yellow room. Dog doesn't like me being gone, but guess what, dog? There's nowhere else for me to go. Okay, what's over there? Okay, I'll go back. There we go. Alright. Is this a boss room? Hey, I thought I did get the blue. That's bad news. No. Bad. Let me see. I think I'll save just in case. Wait a minute, I'm 2%. Let's see. I wonder, was I at 2%? or did I take damage falling and it just didn't show it? I love that sound, like anyone wants to ever open that. Okay, that's cool. I'll just bypass that garbage. Nice. Okay, there's the dog. Go in here. I already went in that. If I want to go to the exit, I gotta get above here. Okay, what's that? That was not health. Hey, dog. Interesting. Bad dog? Yeah. Can you go kill that dog? Whoa. Okay. At least I know where the big bad dog is that I don't want to get near. It's another front door. The audio is really cool. There's that again. I want to go up. Up, 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 up. I want to go up so I can do that. Okay, this is the other side. Oh, it's already here. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Dog's over there.
To go to work. Okay. That was productive. I guess I'll be seeing you tomorrow morning.
Goodbye for now.
By my time. Take